Good morning, everybody. Amanda O'Brien, thank you for waking up with us this morning. Appreciate you. Heather on Long Island, good to see you. Got Martha, Erica, Z, Cindy, Audrey. Rain is in here. Every time I see Rain from Washington, and the username in our chat, I think of the song "Rain on Me" by Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande.
Ariana.
Really underrated song. I feel like it didn't get its time in the sun. Maybe because it's a song about rain, but it was so good. It's probably the best new Lady Gaga song that's come out since
before the
the Stars. I get it. A Star Is Born. That was just a slow whatever. It was an okay song.
What was the album that I had to go do interviews for in Times Square, and they sent me there, and they were like, "Get people's reactions to the Gaga album," and it was the first one that everyone hated, and I was like, "I got
Art
nothing."
Pop?
Yes.
Art Pop. Yeah, there's not a lot of good on Art Pop.
Maybe I'm gonna add "Rain on Me" to my gym playlist.
Oh, it's a great gym song. I actually have been creating an all-female gym workout playlist. It's pretty good. I got some unknowns on there. Halsey got a lot of tracks that from it was a really long title to her album, so I can't think of what it was. The one where she's breastfeeding on the throne. There's a lot of tracks on that are very good for the gym because it's produced by Trent Reznor, so it has that Tool.
Oh yeah. My gym playlist is mostly, I'll search you're gonna make fun of me for saying it the white person way, but reggaeton.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's my whole the Spotify playlist, or I'll do early 2000s reggaeton, so that it's
That's the good stuff.
Yes.
That's like Daddy Yankee, Don Ahmad.
Then I'll do once in a while. There's gym a workout girl playlist. I'll listen to that, but sometimes I'm like, this is not for me.
Melissa, thank you very much for your subscription with Prime. Appreciate you very much.
I'll also listen to the entire Reputation album.
That's a good one.
But I don't like doing that because that money's going to stupid, what's his name?
When is she doing
what's his name?
18th Reputation, or an 18th?
What is that guy's name?
Scooter Braun?
Yeah. But I've been making a hype country playlist for the gym so that I can listen to upbeat country songs. Because sometimes it's driving down a dirt road.
Yeah, which is great if you're driving down a dirt road.
Not if you're trying to
Just be getting on my deadlift. Wendy in Virginia, thank you very much for your subscription. Appreciate that. 26-month streak.
Damn.
Love to see it. Oh, thank you, Jen. Jen said she likes listening to my Girls Rule
I need to actually, that's a good
playlist. It's a good playlist. I haven't been able to add a lot of music to it because I feel like there isn't a lot of music
10,
that matches
9,
that vibe.
8
anymore.
7,
No.
Yeah.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning and welcome to the Carla Marie and Anthony Show. My name is Anthony.
I'm Carla Marie.
During the countdown, if you're watching this later on, maybe you're not seeing the countdown or you skipped it. During the countdown, we were talking about, first off, it all started because Rain from Washington is in our chat today, so shout out to Rain. But I said that I always think of the song Rain on Me by Lady Gaga
Rain on Me
and Ariana Grande. And there are songs that come through, and it's surprising that it came through from those two artists, but there are songs that come through, and from a pop music perspective, especially on the radio, they're like a flash in the pan. And I feel like that was one of those songs, and you wouldn't expect it with a song with those two A+ artists, right?
Because what happened was
probably
after one day of being out, radio executives were like, it's not testing well. It's not.
Yeah.
They're not making TikToks. They're not making TikToks about it. Erase, delete it, put something else back in.
Yeah.
Nickelback. I don't know. Who do they love?
Listen, you leave Nickelback alone. There is something I don't stand for anymore, and that is Nickelback slander.
Sam Smith. Let's get a Sam Smith and Adele song together. Play it over and over again. What are we doing?
Well, they're not making Sam Smith or Adele TikToks. Although I guess was when everyone, that was Celine Dion, when everyone was doing that, the fan.
Water, the fan.
Yeah, that was a good TikTok trend. And Jordan brings up a good point. Didn't that song come out during the Panini?
Amanda said the same thing. Yeah. Who listened to new music then?
I feel like it did come out right before the Panini. So then it...
But no one listened to new May 2020.
Oh, really? I thought it was before the Panini.
That seems silly.
Huh. Would you look at that? At that point, I would just held on to the song. What's a pandemic song that you can, think of?
None. I didn't listen to music.
Really? Well, also, you aren't all in the studio very often while we still had radio jobs.
And at that time, I don't think I was listening to music outside of the studio pretty often. I just wasn't I don't know, I felt like because I was hearing music all the time.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to many things. I didn't really listen to podcasts. I just needed silence when I wasn't in the studio.
Well, yeah, when you're in a radio studio or doing radio for 4 hours a day.
If anything,
live, and then all the other stuff we do.
It would be country, if anything. I take that back, actually. I used to listen to Elvis and Bobby shows nonstop.
Watermelon Show. Oh, Blinding Lights. Great call. That's from Clarita 1686 in the chat. Blinding Lights is the song I think of when I think of the pandemic, mainly because of the TikTok challenge. All the nurses were doing the Blinding Lights TikTok challenge.
I don't really... That's true. I guess I have to think about what nurses were doing. Watermelon Sugar is a good one, too. That did come out during COVID.
Yeah, that Blinding Lights challenge is really what stuck with me.
I remember the pickle challenge because that's what I did. Not related
Pickle
to music.
challenge.
Someone throws a pickle and you catch it in your mouth.
Oh, and then you do it in slow motion, right? Yeah.
And you're like, I don't remember. It's weird because COVID for us started so early, right? It started March. When I think of COVID, in my mind, it's just warm and sunny. Because I just remember going on walks, sitting in my outdoor area, and the sun and it's going to sound so effed up because I also had people in my life that died. Yeah. But I just remember it, other than my mom going through surgery, being such a calm and peaceful time for me.
It was quiet.
Because we weren't running around all over the place. We were getting sleep. It was such it was a weird thing where I felt guilty for a while where I was like, I kind of like this.
No, there were definitely parts. I think overall, everyone would like to erase the Panini from existence. But I think there were parts of it, and this is probably a good lesson for every trial or tribulation you go through in life, is there will be parts of it that you should sit down and just appreciate.
Well,
the quiet, maybe. Listen, if you're unemployed right now, that sucks. But maybe appreciate the fact that you're not being micromanaged by a crazy boss, right? Maybe appreciate the fact that you can sleep in and not have a terrible commute. There are things that you're allowed to appreciate even when you're going through something undesirable.
And then my sister's wedding got canceled, and then my life flipped upside down because I was mentally abused for a year. Amanda O'Brien said I missed those stimmy checks.
Yeah, those were cool. Although I never actually got one. I just know that the concept of them was cool.
But for us also, we went 6 months of COVID having jobs and being like, oh, this is great. And then not having jobs. Well, so our last half of COVID was just turmoil.
The crazy thing for me was when COVID started and we were still on the radio, my schedule didn't really change. I was still in the studio every single day. If anything, I was doing more work.
Well, you didn't have events. You didn't have...
Yes. But it's not like that sales team was really selling a ton of events.
No, but we were going to events for free all the time.
And we had a lot of meetings that we got to cancel or do through Zoom or whatever. And we didn't have Zoom meetings like a regular corporate person had Zoom meetings where they were just on back-to-back calls with the Zoom fatigue and all of that.
And you could just put yourself on off video. If we did that, we got yelled at.
Yeah. But I'm saying we didn't have regular Zoom calls like other people had more Zoom calls than we did.
Yeah.
So for me, what was so weird was when we did get let go in July of 2020, it was a shock to me because then I really had nothing to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Where I
Everything
already
was
doing-
closed. I didn't have a job anymore.
You were still, and that's true. Like, we actually, at that point, we were both still going to the office, but I had 3 months of not.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's going to be great. I'm telling
It
you.
was so weird for me. So weird. I'm also not someone who does well with free time. Like, I need to be doing things. Like, I like to work. I like to build things.
Yeah, sometimes. Anna Marie said,
Yes.
I lived in Okinawa during COVID and we were on total lockdown. We couldn't leave the island to go to mainland Japan.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Also, my brother Justin in the chat, Jolly Russian Buddhist, brought up a good point. And then I got back into Pokemon. That's literally why I got back in was the pandemic. I had nothing to do.
Were you doing that pre getting let go or post?
Post. Yeah. I may have started looking into some Game Boys and stuff like that. Like, I know I bought my VR headset during the pandemic because I would go home and have nothing to do. And that was a weird part. What?
When did you buy that? Because remember you had me go.
The headset?
Because I swore you had it when I still lived in the apartment building. Because I remember
No.
distinctively you told me to come down there to your apartment to try out the VR headset. And I put it on and you made me go in that yoga room. And I wasn't living there during COVID.
I'm pretty sure I got it during the Panini. I'll double check my my receipts.
Okay.
I do. I probably still have it.
You can't search Gmail on your phone. Are you kidding?
It is not
It
easy.
is the worst app in America to
It's
use
a
on your phone.
Big screen
It
activity.
is big screen activity. Wait, there was something someone just said. And the thought of COVID. Aw, your brother Justin said, honestly, that was a nice time. If it wasn't for COVID, I don't think the brothers chat would be as fulfilling as it is.
Oh, our Discord chat? Probably not.
I was more in touch with my family during COVID than ever in my entire life. Because no one had anything to do, so we
Yeah.
were talking to each other.
Fred the Mailman said, wait, go down a little bit, Carla Marie. Panini changed nothing for me except travel, work, gym, home. Oh, sorry. Let me read that properly. Panini changed nothing for me except travel, work, gym, home, all the same. It was tough to keep anything the same in Seattle because so much was closed.
My one regret is that I did not work out. I would do like random little workouts, but if I would like run or something, I did that occasionally. But if I had a routine during COVID, I would have been so fit.
Yeah. Well, it was tough because I actually got really lucky. I was friends with the guy who managed the LA Fitness in Ballard. And I was
talking about this.
Well, he doesn't work there anymore, so it doesn't matter. He can't get in trouble anymore. And I had messaged him asking, because I was thinking about buying a bunch of gym equipment and putting it on your roof. And I messaged him asking him where gyms sell their used stuff or if there's like an upcycled type place. And he said, listen, I'm going to be back there tomorrow because I have to check on some things.
The gym's closed.
Gym's totally closed. He goes, why don't you come by and just take weights home? And then just, you have to, like,
Bring
the
them
second I need them, you have to bring them back right away. And I had known him for years at this point.
We weren't allowed to post any photos because
Yeah.
it says LA Fitness on them.
So I went, I got the Easy Curl bar,
That's right.
two 25-pound plates, a couple other plates, no 45-pound weights, just because carrying those in and out of a car and everything was going to be annoying.
We did
and
workouts in the studio.
I probably had 170 pounds of weights and just did whatever I could. And a couple dumbbells, I think.
Yeah, that was like a, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Jen from Jersey City just said, the pandemic made me go back to school. This weekend, I earn a new degree.
Hell yeah. Give her the button.
That's so
Happy
cool.
degree getting to you. Happy degree getting happy degree getting happy degree getting to you. Cha cha cha. Or should I say it with an Arabic accent? Happy degree getting to you. That's a terrible Arabic accent.
A lot of people were talking about travel they had planned that got canceled.
Yeah.
My friends from here had never been to New York. So friends who grew up in Washington, and we were planning a New York, New Jersey trip where I was going to basically take them around and show them the East Coast.
Yeah.
And we're like actually, okay, figuring out months, all of that. Well, COVID hits. So we're like, all right, we're going to put this on the back burner. Then one of them gets pregnant. Then the baby's born. Now it's like, well,
it's a whole different group of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. There actually was one trip, and this brings us back around to, what is it? The last thing on the list today, stay-at-home summer. In January of 2020, I went back to New Jersey, and I went to a Seton Hall basketball game. And a bunch of my friends were with me. My friend Chris was there. My friend Richie was there. And a couple of us were talking about taking an Asian vacation that summer. Just going, because I was talking to them for some reason about my trip to Taiwan that we went on with C100. And a couple of them wanted to go, so we were brainstorming, okay, where can we go? Do we do Japan, whatever? And I started getting excited for going to Japan. And then obviously the pandemic happened, and then I lost my job, and for a lot of reasons, just never made it out there. So I started thinking this year, I had a couple friends who were thinking about going to Japan as well. I was like, maybe this is the year. And I don't know if travel this summer is going to be possible, because it might be a stay-at-home summer. It is expensive to get on an airplane.
Yeah, especially the week you're looking into it.
Well, yeah, the week I'm looking into it is July 4th weekend, so I understand there's that. But yeah, I looked at other weeks, and it's only like a $200 difference for an international flight to Japan.
But if you want to fly from Seattle to Florida around Memorial Day, it is so cheap. Our flights to Florida and back to Seattle are cheaper than my parents from New Jersey to Florida. I don't know why. And granted, we're not flying on Memorial Day weekend. We're going a few days before and then a week after. Round trip for 2 people was under $900
That's
to
crazy.
go to Florida from Seattle.
Yeah. Which sometimes a round trip ticket from Seattle to New Jersey is like $700.
Yeah. Which, so
for one person.
4th of July week. Yeah. It is, the dates that I had looked, it was like $770 to go to New Jersey.
And my thing with the airlines is you charge for like everything, right? You're charging for anything
and
bigger
that's a middle seat,
bigger than a bag of peanuts or pretzels. You charge for overhead space. You charge for regular luggage space. Then you get $10 billion from the government. At what point does someone go to these airlines and go like, how are you guys managing your money? And really, your credit card companies.
Yes.
Your credit card companies that happen to have some planes.
Facts.
How are you failing so badly?
I don't know what they're doing, because they're probably giving their CEOs billions of dollars.
It's insane.
Yeah. It's crazy because people in European countries say things like we watched this whole video about how Americans, like, their vacation is, I'm going to another state. And it's like, where Europeans are like, no, we're going to go travel the world.
Yeah, but there's also the part that America's much bigger.
Correct. But also in Europe, you can get on a train for super cheap.
Absolutely.
You could fly $50 to another country within Europe.
Which is like flying to another state. So, but I will say,
it's $700 to go to another state.
To your point, though, I will say the biggest thing, the biggest difference is probably the trains. Yes, because the 100%. Planes have someone to compete with.
Also, in Europe, they don't have to worry about 4th of July week being expensive.
That's true. In England, they should make 4th of July week expensive as a punishment. Like, no one's going anywhere. You're staying here under the crown where you belong, you peasant.
Also, the train that is supposed to go from Vegas to LA, that they're starting to work on, that's going to be incredible until airlines are like, oh, let's accidentally make this not work, because they're going to do something.
Do you think they're going to crash a plane into it? I don't think they're going to purposely do that, because if anything, if a plane crashed into a train, first off, I hope that never happens. I'm sure it has at some point. I would still trust the planes less.
Oh.
Right, because it's impossible for a train to go up.
No, it's not that you're going to trust it less. You're going to not be able to use that.
Well, yeah, it'll take it down. But I do think if we had high-speed rail like they do in Europe and in many parts of Asia, our flights would be cheaper. They'd have to be. Because if you thought, oh, well, and a great example would be, let's say, Seattle to LA. If we had a decent high-speed rail line that did that for a reasonable fee, I would never fly.
No.
Because getting on the train is also much easier, right? You don't have to worry about paying for your baggage or going through TSA or anything
I
like
would
that.
like there to be TSA in the train.
Why?
Because I don't want a bomb on the train.
How many times did you take the path?
It's different.
It's not different. It's the same exact thing.
No, because there's more at stake here.
Like what?
It's high speed,
It's a train. It's the same thing.
I guess. Do you see the I want to talk about this on the podcast. In Vegas airport, they are testing out unmanned TSA stations. Have you seen the videos?
Oh yeah, you like put yourself through?
It's going to be a disaster.
Yeah, I don't
Absolute disaster. And I guess they literally said, "What is this going to replace people?" They're like, "Nah, no. We're
no, because it's not going to work.
Because we're just trying it in like some airports just to maybe speed up the line a bit. But you get there and you take your thing.
Yeah.
You know, you put it through, but there's a screen. And if you have questions, you tap the screen, you talk to a real TSA
What
agent.
questions would I have about my own bag?
Can I put my iPad in here? Like those things. Because they're not going to be there yelling at you after what to do. But then you go in the thing to be scanned, but it locks you in a clear, like a two-door, like it's a door here to go in, and there's another door on the other side. And if it comes up red, that other door won't open.
So you're stuck?
Yeah.
DJ Synth said, I think the biggest thing to make rail more viable in the U.S. is giving passenger trains priority over freight trains. There are too many delays. Yeah, so if there's if there's a crossing or a track that needs to be used by a freight train, they get priority.
That doesn't make sense. It's coal. Where's it got to go?
Here's why it makes sense. Who do you think is paying for that priority? Who do you think
Not
is paying the
us.
politicians to write the regulations to make that a priority?
The train companies.
This is why, at the end of the day, I say it all the time, Democrats aren't your problem. Republicans aren't your problem. Black people aren't your problem. White people aren't your problem. Corporations are your problem. I should also add, if we're going through all differences, men aren't the problem. Sometimes they are. Women aren't the problem. Sometimes they are. Corporations are the problem.
Yeah.
Corporations being treated like human beings are the problem.
I don't get
Because
it.
guess what? They're not human beings. That's the craziest thing, is we have a government that treats corporations like people and fetuses like people, but not people like people. It's wild. All right. Next thing on the list. What time is it, Carla Marie? Let's get into electric leash. This is something that's been on the list.
Electronic leash?
Yeah,
That's a
electronic
little
leash.
different.
I mean, whatever you're into, you
I'm
know?
just pulling up a screenshot. Okay. Anthony went to Home Goods for the first time yesterday.
Can I get the remote, please? By the way, when I ask for the remote, it's the mouse.
The heck is it?
Man, for something that's been on the list for 3 days,
Oh no.
I think you'd
I had
have
it pulled
this
up
already.
yesterday. Well, because you tried going through my screenshots. Okay. So I saw this meme, and this is nothing like new. We've really, for the most part, talked about this as a subject recently, but the amount of people that responded to it when I posted, I was like, okay, we need to discuss this. So this is the thread that I read. People who don't reply until days later. Why? And then someone said, it's a relatively very new phenomenon that basically anyone in your life gets access to you
yeah.
at all times.
Yeah.
It was only 20 years ago that if you left the house for the day, you were actually gone.
That's crazy.
You'd
yeah.
return messages when you came back hours or even days later. And then someone else said, the phone is there for my convenience. It is not an electronic leash. If it's not convenient for me to talk for any reason, including just not feeling social right now, I am not obligated to answer. This is not rude. This is a normal personal boundary.
Yeah.
I feel like no one in my life follows that.
Well, but your family is always connected.
But
And
I
you
don't
guys
answer
have-
their calls half the time.
Do they ever bring it up to you and say, why aren't
No.
you answering? Okay.
They don't, no.
Then you're fine.
But when I posted it, our friend Steve was like, oh my God, this is me. And I feel like people hate me for it. Because Steve will go days without answering.
Yeah.
And I said,
Yeah.
I get it, but just answer me, no one else.
You know, it is, I think we're getting to a point where people are redrawing their boundaries, right?
Yes.
Because when a new technology is implemented and when everyone's getting it for the first time, it's easy to lose sight of that. right? Because it's so easy to send an email. It's so easy for your boss to forget sometimes that they just sent you an email at 4:59 on a work day. And it's something that we all have to remember too. Just because I can send this message right now doesn't mean I should send this message right now. This is an argument that Carla Marie and I used to have.
Yeah, I used to respond to people immediately, always. And it also depends. Like, there's a lot of times I will read the message and be like, don't need to respond right now.
No, but there's also, we used to argue about when to send emails.
Oh, yeah. I schedule all my emails now.
Now you do. Before, you used to just send them.
I didn't know you could schedule them in
And I would say,
Outlook.
Carla Marie, you don't need to send that right now. And this is an argument that a lot of people have. Carla Marie would say, well, they don't need to respond right now. And I would say, yeah, but they're going to feel
like they need to respond.
like they need to. Right? You don't need to answer your door ever, but when someone knocks on it,
I'm not answering it.
like ruins your day. So yeah, I think it's just something where you have to allow people to redraw their boundaries, and you have to respect it. And obviously different people, just like in real life boundaries, different people have different access to you. You know, like if your parents or your siblings or someone reaches out, you're more likely to hit them back.
Of course.
But not everyone gets that same type of access.
And I think also what you're reaching out for is also, it's weird because like I'll get DMs from friends that are just like, I'll open the DM and it's like 30 reels that they've sent me. And I'm like, I'm not, nope, goodbye. And it's like, did you see that reel I sent you? No. And we are also very different because of the way we use social media.
Yeah.
It's part of our job.
Yeah.
So I think that's another thing where there's another layer to this for us. Because I'm using this for a job, it's not just for fun for me. So if I'm posting things and I'm on here, I'm working, don't distract me. And I know it's a boundary I have to set for myself, not other people. But it's a weird world that I'm still trying to navigate of like, I'm using this for work, but I have friends using this for fun. And how do I draw the line? I'm on this app for work, but now I'm getting sucked into the fun part of it. And I'm just on here all day.
I need to be better. I don't mind when people send me reels in Instagram. I don't like when people send me reels through text, mainly because it's not their problem. It's my problem.
Same.
Then I open up Instagram and I'm back into this thing now.
Yes. Don't do that
because it's so easy, right? The problem with TikTok reels, with YouTube shorts is it's just a swipe up. And
unless
now
it's like
more content,
breaking news, like, oh my God, you got to see this. Send me the text with it. But it's true. If it's just a funny cat reel, don't text that to me.
Send it through Instagram.
Yeah.
My brother Justin is in here, and he said, "Oh, really, Anthony? Family gets priority. LOL." Here's the thing my family doesn't understand, and I'm not the best at responding on time, but I'm actually way better at responding to them than I am responding to anybody else.
No, it's true.
So if you think I'm delayed responding to you, just imagine what it's like if you weren't my brother. What else do we have here?
If I could put my phone in the trash and never use it again, I'd be so happy.
This is interesting. Made by Erica said, also, voice notes are annoying, and that delays when I'll get back to you because I just can't.
Well, so I love what Apple did now is that it transcribes someone's voice note. So if it was convenient for them to send it as a voice note, not convenient for me to digest it as a voice note, I can just read it.
Do we know if Apple and Google and all those companies they probably have access to now use our voices for their AI models, right? Yeah. So they can make a Carla Marie.
So she's already out there crushing life. She's probably a billionaire, paying off the trains.
I'm trying to think. Maybe it's because I have an Android and people don't think we can do voice notes or voice memos.
Okay, there's sometimes, though, where it's easy. I can't type it. It just doesn't make sense when I type it, but I could say it.
Of course.
That makes sense.
And obviously, if you're driving, that makes sense. If you're, I don't know, got a baby in one arm.
Yeah, no.
That makes sense.
A cat.
The only person I have somewhat consistent voice memos or voice notes from is our friend EJ, who does...
He does send me voice.
Who does radio in LA, actually across the country, everywhere, basically.
I love listening to EJ's voice, though.
But he'll send them to me through Instagram.
Oh.
Like in the Instagram, in our DM chat.
Oh, no, don't do that to me.
He doesn't really send me voice notes through text. But I think it's because he thinks my phone is too stupid. Speaking of which.
So anyway, before we leave this subject.
Okay.
Do not. think that there is a leash attached to people from their phones. And I'm getting better at putting my phone down. I put it in downtime. So I don't pick, like if I go to pick up Instagram, it's like, man, this app is closed for business because I need to get things done. I'm like, what did I do today? Oh, I scrolled for hours because I got sucked in.
Yeah.
So I think it's two parts, self-control and boundaries.
Fred the Mailman said, I rarely expect a response. If I send you something, I don't need a response. If I ask a question, I'm only 50% expecting an answer.
Yeah, and my dad will not respond to a text unless it was a question.
That's fair.
It's his rule. He's like, you didn't ask me anything. I'm like,
Well, like what kind of thing would you send him if you're not asking him a question?
actually, I just typed in Fred.
Well, also his name.
That's why.
What do you have him in your phone as, Dad or Daddy?
Daddy.
Ugh.
Which Elvis is also in my phone as Big Daddy. So sometimes I've almost accidentally texted either of them. I did ask him a question. He didn't respond.
What was it?
Well, he said, thank you for my birthday present. Love you. And I said, love you too. Did you see who it was from? And I signed it, Carla
With
Marie,
the cats?
Caroline, Max, Erica, John, and Anthony.
Okay.
And he didn't respond.
Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to hit our spots real
Let
quick.
me see. Look,
And then,
look, all these messages to him, and he didn't even respond. He sent me a video.
all right, we'll be right back. Damn, this one's kind of hard. Wow, well done. I think we got time for one more. Lisa, you're a little too fast with that one.
What was it?
Killed.
Headless.
Oh wait, that's right. We got the fake letter word.
So one of the letters doesn't count, right?
Yeah.
But it's O?
Mhm.
So why even put... What do you,
Because you have to figure that out when you get the full word. 25 seconds left. I can't believe we got 3 games done. That fast.
That was probably a record.
Yeah.
20, 19, 18, 17.
Where'd you see that?
I don't know. I just in my head knew 5 seconds passed.
We're,
always
we're at 9.
So yeah, I would have been on if I was still counting. 3. Can you count down? Not necessarily happening. What's happening?
Going back.
Go.
Give me a second. I want to make sure that
I said 3, 2, 1.
Oh, okay. Well, then we can come back because Carlin reset. 3, 2, and 1. So I didn't talk about this when I was in New Jersey, but when I was in New Jersey, I went to the barber that's kind of close to my parents' house, and I got a beard cleanup before I went to my friend Robbie's wedding. But my phone, I guess, didn't charge the night before. So I show up, my phone's at like 3%, and I normally pay with my phone, and I Venmo the barber for a tip. For pizza. I don't Venmo them for a tip. I take that back. And so I asked for a plug. I said, does anyone have a USB-C cable? And all 3 of the people in there looked at me like I was a crazy person.
Well, new iPhones have USB-Cs.
Here's the craziest part. Is my barber had the new iPhone and he just thought it was the new Apple charger. And I was like, well, this is what basically every other company in the world uses. It's what in Europe, every single new electronic device has to use this.
Lenny said you have to say new iPhone charger.
Yeah, well, I did, and he sure enough, he had it.
I think my family probably thinks it's the same thing, the new iPhone charger.
And so it got to a point where we were talking about the differences between. I was the only person with an Android, and there was a female barber to the left of me. So I'm sitting here.
Female barber.
Right? She's a hairdresser. She was a
she's-
barber. She's in a barber shop.
Yeah, I feel like there was a barber and she. You don't have to say female barber.
Oh, okay, sure. The barber that wasn't a man.
No,
She said.
you will qualify it when you say she.
Barbarous? Is that a real word?
There's no way we're
That
saying
would be
that.
amazing if barbarous was a word. Anyway, we were talking about all the differences, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I wondered why Apple changed that." And I said, "Well, in Europe, they have the EU, which decides on, I think there are 27 countries in the EU, and they basically told Apple they couldn't use their own charger anymore.
Right.
They had to get in line with everyone else." She's like, "Oh, that's so good to know." And we started talking about the differences between Android and iPhone. And I said, it's one of the ways that Apple was able to kind of control people and make sure that they could sell more accessories and make people feel like Androids were cheaper. She's like, "Oh, they're not?" And I said, "No, if anything, some are more expensive, but similar phones, they're all the same." And I said, "They also do it with iMessage, the whole green bubble thing." She's like, "Yeah." And I said, "And what Apple does," and this is the craziest part to me. I said, "Apple also will, if I send you a picture from my Android phone, Apple knows that, and they'll make the picture look worse."
And you think, oh, this Android phone takes bad photos, or I just can't communicate
And
with Android people.
maybe because I'm an Android person, I understand these things, and they're things I'm very conscious of. She goes, "Oh, I just thought all of those phones sucked."
It worked.
I was like, this is exactly the problem. This is exactly what they did. And it worked perfectly.
Apple's
and I
the
said,
biggest gaslighters.
I pulled up a picture on my phone. I forgot what it was even of. I was like, "No, this is how our phones normally take pictures." And she's like, "Oh, wow, that's really good." And I said, "Yeah, I know." And as frustrating as it was, I was like, you know what? I at least got to spread the good word to 3 people. The good green word.
Yeah, and they won't switch.
Yeah, see, Melissa said my husband is Android and I'm Apple.
I know all of these things that you were saying, and I know that they are true.
Yes.
But I don't want that phone.
Yeah. Run Like a Husky said, "I love it when Apple people admit my Android pictures are better." The amount of
Not
times.
always.
The amount of times Carlin will say, "Well, you know what, can you just take it with your phone?"
It depends where we are. There are moments where an iPhone takes way better photos. It's stupid that it's like that.
Yeah. But the lightning cable is now gone. And soon, maybe, the green bubble might be gone. Maybe. I don't hate the green bubble thing. I hate Apple people who make the green bubble thing a big deal.
Well,
I actually like.
know. How do you know?
Huh?
What do you mean you don't hate it? It's the
I
same
don't
thing.
mind if Apple says, "Hey, this person's messaging you from a different platform." That's fine. I don't like the weird bigotry that is now permeating through all of the Apple heads out there. Like, ew, green bubble. Ew, I can't date a green bubble. Ew, green bubble people are poor.
You know what they're gonna do is they're gonna say, okay, you get iMessage, everyone gets iMessage, and then they're gonna put like this ugly ass like stamp across the text, like a watermark.
And the green bubble thing, if you hear the Justice Department looking into Apple and their monopoly and all their illegal practices, it's not about the color of the bubble.
Right. I had to
That is
explain
actually the
something.
problem. The companies are allowed to do things like that. The biggest problem is that Apple is purposefully giving their own Apple users a worse experience and a less secure experience in order to block Androids from being able to message them properly. And the root of that is encrypted messages. If you, Carla Marie, as an Apple holder person, message another Apple person, those messages are encrypted. They cannot be read by anything outside of the two people
Unless the government's
in that
tracking
conversation
me.
or whoever's in that conversation. If I, as an Android person, message my brother Justin, who is also an Android person, those messages are encrypted. Apple breaks that chain and makes them unencrypted purposefully if they are to an Android, so it's less secure.
Yeah, that's weird.
And that's the biggest problem that's going to get. If Apple has any penalties, it will be that. It's you are purposefully giving your customers a less secure experience because you want to retain this weird monopoly.
Well, I can't wait to not have that.
You know what? If we're in here,
Fred
let's see.
said, I like being the green bubble. It lets people in the chat know that I'm the adult in the room.
That's true. If there's
No,
any
because
green
then
bubbles
we
in
don't
here,
know.
throw a green emoji.
Because
A
then
green heart emoji in the chat.
but you don't, unless you're one-on-one, you don't know that they have an Android. Once you get a group chat, it's like, oh my God. My niece's bachelorette party, everyone was an Apple user and it was so nice. And then my sister's, one of her friends is an Android. Ugh.
Probably the best one.
No, Tiffany's a pain in the ass.
Oh, she was on the podcast, wasn't she?
Yeah, she's a maniac.
Um,
And I say that as someone who has known her entire life.
So one of my favorite things is anytime I'm put on a group chat, because I don't think I've started maybe a handful of group chats, and it's usually 3 people max that I have to talk to for an event, right? Or for a very specific
yeah.
reason. I don't just start group chats. But every time I'm put on a group chat, someone goes, oh, who's the green bubble? And I always respond
Don't
the same way.
Don't tell them.
I didn't ask to be here. You put me here. Get me out of here.
I can't. So no one in my family is an Android, and they ask Anthony so many questions
Yeah.
about but tell me why you have an Android. It's annoying. But anyway, our group, we have 2 group chats. One is just the girls, one is everyone, and they're all iPhone users. And there will come a day, I assume, where you will be in the family group chat.
Nope.
And if you were going to be with me for my surgery, just you, they would have put you in the group chat for updates, but my mom will be there, so they'll get it.
But they
from
can
her.
kick me out, right?
No, you can't. That's another thing. You can't remove people or remove yourself if an Android is in there.
Oh,
so
weird. So Apple makes the functionality more
then
difficult
we're
and
trapped.
less robust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did add different, you can name the group and stuff like that. We can do that now. But
Which Android has been able to do for the record.
if you are in a group chat with my family and it's green, they're going to lose their minds. And every time they're like, "Oh, Anthony," and I'm like, "It's going to be an Android." Like, never mind.
It's all right. I'm just going to mute it and put it in my archived messages anyway. That's what I do with my own family group chats. And when I say my own family group chats, I mean, normally they're
The one
only
that's
around
30
Thanksgiving.
people.
There's 45 people in there, and it's always people asking the same question because there were so many people in the chat that you can't read the whole thing sometimes.
Yeah.
So you end up getting the same question 16 times.
Also, we don't get. Oh no, I do get the. When you like something, or any of us are in in a group chat. Sorry,
With me or without me?
With you.
Okay.
And if you do the heart or haha or exclamation point, whatever, it doesn't say Anthony liked this anymore. It doesn't do that. But in your notifications, it does. But within the chat, it used to be like, Anthony liked a message. Erica laughed at
really?
a message. Ricky loved a message. It's like, ugh, in
Yeah.
the chat for us. It doesn't do that anymore.
Not on my phone.
Yeah,
So sucks to suck, I guess.
yeah.
And I think what...
Jess said, didn't Tone just say family has priority earlier?
Yeah, my immediate family has priority, I should say. My brothers, my mom, my dad. Probably my mom, my brothers, my dad in that order, if I was to rank them.
I have
No,
you pinned
you know what
on
this,
mine.
you know what it really shows us? The whole green bubble thing. It's the kind of like a sad part of civilization. We will use anything to feel superior to another group of people, right? Like think of the crazy mind games that Apple has been able to play. Just selling people the idea that their blue bubble makes you a better person than a green bubble. And part of that is Apple's problem. Part of that is humans wanting that, right?
Yeah.
People want all the time.
What is it like to not be
to
superior?
feel better?
How do you feel?
It feels awesome.
No, it can't.
It does.
It
It does feel
can't.
awesome.
It can't.
Because it is a superior device. But I am not superior for owning that device.
Okay.
That's the difference.
Oh, Marijuana's in here. Is a female barber called a barberess?
Yes, we need to know. We need to know.
It's not. She's not. And you don't
she would
need
just
to
be
say
a barber,
Yeah,
right?
right, but you said female barber,
But
and
she-
there was no reason for you to qualify what she.
Yeah, because she was a silly girl that didn't know that she was a silly girl that didn't know that Androids actually have good cameras.
Okay.
It's the one commercial we get. It's the one thing people know.
They're just called barbers. Barbaras. They're Barbaras. But what I was
Man, I don't
trying to
even know where
tell
the
you
chat
with that
is
is that
anymore.
you could have said there was a barber, and
Yes.
she said,
Yes, I could have. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
there was a flight
No,
attendant.
they're just called barbers, according to Marijuana.
There was a flight attendant, and you don't have to say male flight attendant or stewardess, Mom. My parents still call them stewardesses. So I'm like,
I kind of like that name more.
No.
I'm not going to lie.
no. And if
A
it's a
flight
guy, I
attendant?
want to
Are
know,
you-
do they
you're
say
not-
male stewardess? I think my parents probably say male stewardess.
Probably.
Or whatever they're called.
They probably just called him gay. I feel like there was a very long time where everyone assumed if you were a male and you were a flight attendant, you were gay. I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not saying you are gay if you're a male flight attendant.
But there were definitely people that assumed.
There were definitely people that assumed that.
Like that what was it, Senate? Whatever that hearing was where the
Oh my God, that was great.
the pilot was there representing Delta, and she was like, as a pilot, I fly whatever. And he's like, okay, so as a stewardess, do you? And it was like,
And she was like some,
what in the 1940s just happened in this room?
and she was some like elevated like position, right? Same goes with male nannies, male nurses again.
You're just a nurse,
Yeah.
and you're a he. Like,
What do you mean?
I don't have to say male
Oh,
nurse.
yeah,
You
the
are
nurse and he
my
did this.
nurse,
Yes,
and
yes,
he
yes.
did this.
Yes.
It does, as long as you're doing your damn job, it doesn't matter. And doing it well.
If it's interesting. If there was, and I guess I did it with being a barber, because normally the distinction is like men are barbers and women are hairdressers. But men can be hairdressers.
Stylists. Hairdresser's so outdated also. That's not offensive. It's just
Okay.
so outdated.
Am I getting canceled by the salon community?
Hairdresser. It's a New Jersey thing to say hairdresser, I think.
Is it really?
Or like Texas. Like I'm going to the hairdresser, getting my perm on a little cap.
So what do you call them?
Hairstylist.
A hairstylist. Okay, so there can be male hairstylists.
Yes.
There's probably more often female hairstylists. But if it was like a bricklayer, you're like, oh man, I was driving by and they were making a house and I saw this woman bricklayer. Like, I feel like I'd want to shout her out for being a female bricklayer.
No.
No? Society is
Like
wild.
pocketbook. Martha's right. Pocketbook is such a Jersey thing. It's a purse, a bag, a pocketbook.
I just knew it as-
Pocketbook bingo. It's purse bingo.
I just knew it as a pocketbook.
Pocketbook.
There we go. DJ Sin said Midwest was hairdresser too, but that was 30 years ago.
Yeah. I'm a hairdresser. And I hate when people come in and they bring their pocketbooks and they're all over.
Let's see. It's a pocket for your books. Yeah, it depends. What do you have in there?
Nope. I have a notebook.
It's a book.
That's a tote.
It's a book bag at that point. That's another distinction, right? Book bag or backpack.
I think book bag was like those leather satchels when you would put your books and fold it and then carry it.
All right, moving on. There's some other stuff on the list that we have to get to.
Lisa said, I can hear my grandma saying, where's my pocketbook? Me too.
Let's get into, is your man cheating?
Okay.
So we did stay at home summer. Basically, just traveling is expensive. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out if I can leave the country this summer or not. But we'll see.
So I saw this article today that says, TikTok says, if your boyfriend knows what sky blue French tip 1.5 inch means, it's a red flag.
Sky blue French tip, 1.5 inch?
Mm-hmm.
Sky blue French tip. I mean, a French tip is a type of like nail style, right? If you get like a manicure, you could get a French tip.
Yes.
Is sky blue the color of it?
Yeah.
Is this what, am I on the right path here? 1.5 inches. I was thinking 1.5 inches would be like the millimeter, like the.
Nope, it's inches.
The white. I know, but the white tip on it.
But if it's a tip, it's not nails like me.
Is it like the length of the nail?
Yeah.
You have a 1.5 inch nail?
How do you wipe your butt? I don't know. I ask every woman who does it, and they're like, I don't know why everyone asks me that question.
Is that 1.5 inches from the base of your nail or from the tip?
Base, probably.
That's still a lot.
I can't live that life. Anyway.
And I'd assume my nail beds are larger than women because I have larger hands. They're not that much bigger, actually. You actually might have bigger nail beds than I do.
Okay. So anyway.
So it's a French tip.
Yes.
It's a nail thing.
It's
why
actually really pretty. Sky blue.
Why does that mean I'm cheating?
Okay. So according to TikTok, this is the dumbest thing ever.
Okay.
Like, I don't know why they're riding like this one. Like, why is this what we're like? This is the reason he's cheating. The example is.
I guess I'm cheating. Damn.
This concept claims, if he knows this concept claims he's either a fuckboy actively cheating or, at the very least, learned a thing or two from his exes, which is okay, by the way. That's not a red flag if a guy learned things and remembers them.
So first off, I did not learn that from any of my exes. I did not learn it when I was an F-boy. And I do have the benefit, though, of cousins who own a nail polish company.
Okay.
But I don't know if I even learned it from them. I just know what a French tip is.
So this article from Bustle goes on to say, that's because most men would have no idea of specific manicure terminology and would literally never say something like sky blue French tip 1.5 inch unless someone cooked there. So if 5 years into your relationship, he shows up one day with unexplainable manicure knowledge, you should be very suspicious. I would say that after, like, if you're dating someone all these years and then he's like, oh, you should do this, I'd be like, did you see that on TikTok?
Yeah, I just assume everyone learns every random fact now from TikTok or Reels.
And I'm with Martha said, I don't understand the relation. And that's where my thought process was with this. Like, this is a stretch.
Fred said, if your boyfriend knows sky blue French tip 1.5 inch, he's not cheating. He's wearing your Spanx and calling himself Rosita on the weekends. I was actually thinking there was a college basketball player who played for UNC.
I love him. He got a nail deal.
Yeah, he got a lot of crap during the season. I forgot his name. Mainly because I hate the ACC, so I try to not watch their games. But he got a lot of crap during the season because he paints his nails.
Yeah.
And my favorite part is when people on the internet will try to make someone like that feel less masculine.
Make them feel like an android.
Listen,
user.
I've never painted my nails.
You should.
I'm not
Can
totally
we?
sure. Why not? I don't know what I would paint them. I'd probably just go like matte black.
Yeah.
Like real punk rock with it. But anyway, there were people online that would be like, ooh, like, this guy's so gay or he's a woman or blah, blah, blah. Like this man, first off, whether he's gay or not is almost irrelevant or is irrelevant. But the fact that you're a little troll on Twitter trying to tell this elite Division I college basketball player that he is somehow less of a man because he paints his nail is wild.
Wild.
That man is massive.
Then he went and got a nail deal with OPI or I forget which one.
Let's see.
His name is Jared McCain. He plays for Duke. Thank you, Jess.
Well, he transferred, right?
Or played for Duke.
Yeah.
Anyway, he got a nail deal and now he's making money off of it. Amazing.
Jared McCain, Duke guard. Says he's
Nil.
still NIL.
Oh, I thought you were trying to spell nail.
Let's see.
I love it. Look at him. It's so cute.
And I mean, he
Oh,
matches.
Sally Hansen.
Who's Sally Hansen?
It's a beauty company.
Okay.
Sorry, what did it say? He said sorry if that offends any of you guys.
Yeah. But he also matched his uniform.
I know.
How cool is that? I know
Go
that
back.
baseball pitcher or catchers, I should say,
Oh, they'll paint like 2 nails.
they'll paint their nails because it's easier sometimes. And it's usually like a really bright color, neon green, neon pink. That way, it's easier for the pitcher to pick up the signals. Especially because if there's shadows and you're just sticking your hand in your crotch,
Oh.
it might be hard to see.
Why is no one making fun of baseball players staring at other dudes' crotches where their nails are painted?
I don't know.
The quote from the Duke basketball player who paints his nails is, "I like to get manicures. The hate is funny because it's usually grown men. You're a grown man hating on a kid."
Yeah. A very large kid, for
Who
the
will
record.
beat your ass
A
with
very
those
large
painted
kid.
nails.
Because if you're playing basketball at Duke, you're 6'6" or above. I do feel like oh no, you know what? He didn't transfer. He's going to the draft.
Oh, so you know what's funny?
So he'll be an NBA player with painted nails.
Those same men who hate on him
Yeah.
are probably the same men that are like, "Oh, look at these women basketball players. They don't like look like women. They don't do makeup. They don't paint their nails." It's like
Listen, at the end of the day, you can't live your life trying to make the internet happy.
no.
Because it never will be.
Nope.
The internet is built to not be happy. Right? All the messages that get promoted to the top are usually the cynical, making fun of someone, mean, wildly incorrect. Those are all the things that make it to the top of the internet.
DK Metcalf paints his nails
Does he?
sometimes.
He does a lot. I mean, he colors his hair. He's got he has like dangling nose rings,
I
doesn't
don't
he?
know how he does it. And he eats only candy.
Yeah. Well, that was like
He has an 8-pack.
Chad Johnson, currently known as Chad Ochocinco.
Mm-hmm.
There was a day, I remember watching like an ESPN mini special where they followed him around for the day. And that guy went to McDonald's while he was playing every single day. Every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. But then you have to remember how hard they're working.
He loves
You
McDonald's,
can eat
though. He still
McDonald's
talks-
every day
Yeah.
if you're working out like an NFL athlete.
If I ate McDonald's every day, you'd be rolling me out of the studio. I would literally be sitting here like with the sodium, just day one.
Yeah, DK's like,
He's so big.
if you took a statue of a Greek god and made it a
And
person,
painted its nails and dyed its hair.
it would be DK Metcalf.
He has an 8-pack?
It's wild. It's wild. I don't know if I've
And
ever
he's-
seen a person built like that.
And he's so nice also.
Yeah,
And he's so tall.
he's very tall. He just needs to, because he was not on any of their Super Bowl teams. One of my favorite memes, though, is it's when Cooper Kupp, I guess, won MVP of the league or something, and there's a picture of Cooper, or there's a side-by-side of Cooper Kupp, who just looks like the most generic, like, lazy white person. And then there's DK Metcalf, who's just jacked beyond belief and gigantic. And the meme is, you mean to tell me the guy on the left is the MVP of the
Doesn't make any
NFL?
sense. Marijuana said, "My favorite Twitter has become a guy who points out how most right-wing leaders dress like shit using classic men's fashion. When people call him gay, he always points out that dressing like crap isn't a sign of being more of a man."
That's true. Yeah. Having some sense of fashion, which I clearly don't right now, but having some sense of fashion is probably a desirable trait. What else do we have here? Yeah, so I think we all agreed that just because your boyfriend or your husband knows what a
nail.
sky blue French tip 1.5
Yeah.
inch is doesn't mean he's cheating on you.
Like my dad.
Or
wouldn't-
maybe this is just a big, like, ruse by me.
My dad knows, not nails, but he knows women's fashion. Not updated women's fashion, but he used to own a men's clothing store.
Mhm.
He would very much like, not critique our outfits, but be like, no, like wear this with this. Like he was very into fashion. He still is very into fashion. And we would joke with him all the time being like, do you have another family and are you gay? Like you love clothes. You really fit into this secret life stereotype here, Fred.
I think it would be great if Freddie Marie did have a secret family with a male partner, and they adopted a couple kids, and he like that's.
And he did go by Freddie Marie over there.
Yeah, he actually did. No, he would go. What would he go by?
Marie, just Marie.
Francois. I don't know. I'm trying to make him more like.
But there's times where I'm like, I don't know, and I'll be like, Dad, these pants or these shoes or these shoes, and he'll pick. My mom's like, why don't you ask me? And I'm like, be quiet, little lady. He knows more.
My mom used to. I mean, granted, my mom didn't have girls to ask growing up, but I would be the person she would normally ask.
She would ask you.
Yeah. What do you think about these shoes or this dress or whatever? And mainly because she would ask my dad, but if they were buying something, my dad would just say, yeah, buy it.
That's not what she's asking.
That's not what she's asking. Yeah.
Freddie Mercury. But yeah, it's fun. I can, he's good with that. I'll also have him iron my clothes or steam my clothes when I'm home. My mom's like, I can do this too. I was like, I know.
Do you know, going back to the nails real quick before we move on to what?
We got to go quickly because if I'm going to take my call.
All right. This will be the last thing. Do you remember this in middle school or high school? Speaking of nails and femininity or masculinity or whatever, there was like a thing you would ask guys to see if they were gay or not. And it was, you would ask them to check their nails. You say,
no, it was just all over TikTok.
Recently it was?
Check your nails.
Yeah.
And if you do this.
If you do this allegedly back in the day, or maybe now today on TikTok, you're gay. And straight men would check it this way, which was such a weird.
My dad would definitely do this.
I always said it depends on where my hand is when you ask me.
Check your nails.
I would go like that, right? But if my hands are down here already, you said check your nails, I'm just going to go give him one of these, little guns. Maybe that means I'm bi. I don't know.
I'm definitely doing this to all the men in my family.
Well, they're going to catch on pretty quick. And depending on their age, they would, like, if they're in their 30s, that is something they dealt with in high school or middle school. Someone tried to call them out.
I won't be like, check your nails. And they're like, oh, what do your cuticles look like today? I don't know.
Do you think most of the men in your family would know where their cuticles are?
Yes, my brother, because he's a biter. He bites his...
He's a biter? Like he likes to rip off people's style?
He...
Do you remember that term back in the day?
Eats his fingers. It's disgusting. So I'm going to spray him with like a dog.
Let's see what we have in the chat here. My brother said, I remember that. Keep in mind, we're talking about middle school, high school. And I got called gay, but I replied, if you care about how you check your nails, you're gay. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, that was the move back in the day.
People are stupid.
But
Kids are so stupid.
But here's the crazy thing is I remember after I learned that trend or that like test, I would make it a point to never look at my nails this way because I was so scared.
No.
In middle school.
I can't. I'm telling you right now. Which is
funny because
if I ever have a kid and I find out they're a bully, I'm locking them in the chokey.
I don't know what switched in my brain. And I'm sure every kid deals with this at some point, right? You grow up for a while not wanting to be made fun of, not wanting to be mischaracterized, not wanting to be called gay or whatever it is. And then one day in high school, I was just like, I don't actually care.
Yeah.
And it got so bad that my friend Dan made the best nickname for me and called me a closet heterosexual. He was like, you literally, because I would if a song came on in the mall that I would like, I would just start dancing around the store.
I have a video of you doing that yesterday.
Right? Like, I just stopped caring about all these things that typical high school boys back in the early 2000s would call you gay for. And I just started going, I had long hair. I didn't care if I danced around the mall. Like, I was, all of that stuff. And I don't remember a day when it clicked. It just did. I was just like,
think about how many guys are like, I wish I could do that, but my body won't let me because people are going to make fun of me. Like, that's a crappy way to live.
What do you mean?
Like, thinking like, I want to be fun and do these things, but I don't want to, I care what other people think about me. Stop it. You have literally one life and it's not a long time.
Yeah.
Just have fun.
Yeah, just enjoy yourself. Are you hurting anyone? No? Then keep on going. Just keep on doing what you're doing. All right, it is time for us to get out of here.
We'll do being somebody's first on Thursday.
Yeah, we got electronic leash, Carla Marie's fetish. We got that out of the way. We got is your man cheating because he knows a nail style out of the way. And stay at home summer. If you guys get any travel deals, you let us know because that world out there is expensive.
Yeah.
All right, Carla Marie, any last words?
Peace out, Cub Scouts.
Later.